friend of mine said to me, he goes, business is a gamble, fashion is my passion. I love it.
So what got you into fashion?
What got me into fashion? A long journey, to be honest. My family background is fashion for, I would say, almost 50 years now. So when I was obviously growing up, started working in the family business. And what we used to do to what I do now is a massive difference. So yeah, it's been almost 50 years. As a family background, I've been in fashion for, I would say, about 34 years now.
Wow, that's a long time.
It's a very long time.
So what were like certain beliefs or like you had in fashion then that changed throughout the whole journey?
To be honest, what we used to do, like like my brothers, my uncle, uh, a few of my cousins, we were doing ladies wear, like a cash and carry stuff. Uh, Basically, you buy new products every week, selling it on, replenish it. So it was different as I was growing up, obviously buying clothes for myself and passion of buying men's brands. I got in at really early age. I started wearing designer clothes in the mid 90s when I was like 18, 30 years
Wow.
ago. So from there, just the love just grew. So I was obviously in the fashion, so traveling to a lot of different places. And as I got older and got more passionate about wearing designer clothes and stuff, I was wearing designer clothes from a very, very young age and very, very expensive clothes. All my wages used to go on the clothes.
Wow. So what made you fall in love with like luxury fashion specifically?
To be honest, I kind of just, because I come from a fashion background, when we was in, doing what we were doing, we were traveling a lot, and obviously I started buying designer clothes at very early age. And as I got older and as I got more money, I started buying luxury products. So, I started wearing Vivian Westwood in the 97, 98. I bought my first pair of Prada shoes. I think it was 98 when I bought my first pair of Prada shoes. And from there on, it was just like, what's the next brand kind of thing. We was wearing up and coming brands, really, really cool brands. And then I got into wearing Dior and Gucci and so on. The list kind of goes on. And that just kind of grew me into started going to London Fashion Week and stuff like that, and just got more passionate. But I was still doing the lady stuff we were doing as a family, and I started on myself on my own as well. And then it was kind of just one day, just decided to open up a menswear store because I was so passionate about it. And a really good friend of mine, we were just like, he wasn't doing anything, and we were like, I said, fancy opening a fashion show, if you want to come along. And there was it. We just started that was in 2007,
Wow. Almost 20 years ago.
almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's when we started looking. And honestly, there's so much more to it. I don't want to go into a lot of it, but all I would say is we was going to open like a small store for some of the brands we liked, me and him, right? And then we ended up opening a massive store. It just got like, just fell in love with it, to be honest. And from there, it kind of just grew. We were doing a lot of independent brands, really cool up and coming brands. And I worked with a lot of, good people and a lot of agencies over the years. And I kind of just grew into it, to be honest. And then got into fancied opening a luxury store back in 2016, 2017. And yeah, so it kind of just a long step by step,
Process.
step by step process. It's not like, nowadays things are easy, social media, people seeing stuff. When I started, and people I know who started, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, things were different. You couldn't just pick up a phone up and get a brand. You had to find the brands, you had to find the details. It wasn't easy. It's not easy now either. It's a people who don't know fashion, they will never understand how this industry works.
There's so much going on in the back. Yeah.
Oh, so much, so much. There's a lot. You know what I mean? There's like I said, through social media, people are seeing brands. Oh yeah, this brand is big. This brand is. When we started, we had to do background of what this brand is, what is the brand about. I mean, all that still goes on now, but
It was still much
there
bigger.
was no social media.
Yeah.
To get you the feedback, we had to take a risk getting these brands in. And like when I first started, I got the brands in what I liked. Oh yeah, this brand looks good, this brand. And I saw them brands, people who were doing well with it. But most of them didn't work. Most of them brands didn't work. So it took us a little while to understand what our target audience is and what the kind of clientele we're getting in. So we had to change. And when you want to change in this industry from one kind of look into another, it takes time, because there's seasons. You've got 4 seasons. You've got spring, summer, you've got autumn, winter. A lot of people don't even understand what the seasons are. So it's a different world. I love this world.
Yeah, it definitely is. So your first store opened 2017 was in Sheffield, right?
It wasn't my first store.
Second.
Yeah, third, fourth store actually.
Oh wow.
But it was my second menswear store. So it was actually my fourth store, but it was my second menswear store where we wanted to up the game, and get into the new heights. And when we first started in Sheffield, we was doing brands like Rick Owens, Philip Line, Neil Barrett, Acne Studios, and then we were first to bring them brands into Sheffield. And then we got into Off-White, Palm Angel. We were the first independent in the Yorkshire area to have Off-White and Palm Angel, where a lot of people at that point in 2017 didn't know what Off-White, Palm Angel were. And then we got into doing Heron Preston, and then we've got into doing we were doing Represent in 2018 when a lot of people didn't know what Represent were. I think we did one season, just a small collection. And then we got into change, and the store were doing really, really well. And we were looking for a bigger premises because we were getting some really, really cool brands. We were doing brands like Marcelo Berlon. And then we were doing a really cool French brand called DDM, Drola Denuncia. Then we were doing brands like Daily Paper, which was new, and they were some of our best-selling brands. We didn't just do the high-end brands; we brought in the new brands, on the scene in the Yorkshire area, and they were doing great. And then we kind of just moved on from there, to be honest. And then we started working with Farfetch, which was took us a long time to get in with them. But it was great. It was a good relationship. Started off really well, and then we had COVID.
Well, the big boom, huh?
Then we had COVID. And to be honest, after COVID, we were still positive, full of energy. We knew what we wanted to achieve. We wanted to open a bigger store in Sheffield, and an opportunity came up next door to where we were, and we took a massive gamble. Maybe at that time it looked right, but obviously it didn't work out because we were still in COVID and we got big hit. We spent a lot of money getting that store, doing it up, spend a lot of time doing it. And then the brands, we got more brands on board. We got Casablanca on board. We got JW Anderson on board. We got Dries Van Noten on board. We so the brands the list just grew. We got Cold War on board, so the list of brands we were getting, it was amazing, because we was building, and then we had other brands lined up. We had Kanzo lined up. We had, or we used to do Rude as well. So there was a lot of other things we were working on for that store for the future. We started doing Represent again, and we were flying. We couldn't just, it was just flying. The Represent after COVID, it was flying for us, and I think it was flying for everybody. But we were one of the few independents in the UK to sell that brand. We were in talks with MKI, which is doing awesome at the moment. We were talking to Cole Buxton, which is doing great at the moment. Great three, I think they're the three best British brands right now: Cold War, Represent, and MKI. So we were, we were working hard, reaching, but unfortunately, COVID just wasn't letting us grow. And it was unfortunate. We had to take a decision in 2023 to close the store, which was very heartbreaking. I worked more than 20 years to build, to get to that level, and to seeing the door closed overnight, it was very painful for me.
Yeah. Well, probably I didn't go through something like that, but it sure has been hard. Like you spend that much time and then you had to close. But I think that's the nature of business. Or
that's the nature of any business, right? Anything you start business. A friend of mine said to me, he goes, business is a gamble, and you need to prepare to lose, because it's not always going to work out. But if your intentions are right and you keep plugging that away at it, it'll work. And don't get me wrong, we got to when I started to where we got to, I worked very, very hard. I traveled a lot. I was in Paris, I was in Milan, I was in London. We were traveling. I remember times when we were Paris and then we're getting up at 4 in the morning and getting a flight to Milan to go and to see brands there, and then from there going back to Paris. So, it's a lot of sleepless nights, but, I loved every minute of it. And when we had to close, it was painful.
yeah. So right now we're in your second store, like that. You opened a new store. So why did you come back?
To be honest, no plans to come back. When I closed the other store, I didn't work for a year. I was basically, I didn't work for a year, and I was looking what I want to do. I even looked at getting jobs, but it wasn't easy. I was doing bits and bobs, but I wasn't doing a lot, to be honest. It's not like I didn't want it to. I was just trying to find what I want to do, and so that was that. Why I decided to open again? Oh, to be honest, my son's gone to university in Sheffield, and when he was looking, I was used to come with him to see the university and stuff. And then when he moved here, I was back and forward, helping him move and adjusting. And obviously, I'm from Sheffield originally. I live in Manchester now, but obviously coming into town a few times, seeing stuff, and he's like, me and him are like talking. He goes, Dad. And I said to him, I said, should we do it again? And he's like, we could do. And I was like, oh, let's think about it. So that was that. And then, because I was coming regular, he's like, Dad, you don't want to do it, don't you, again? Why don't we do it? And I want to do it. So my son was like, I want to do it, but I want you to help me do it. So I want you to guide me. You've got the experience. And yeah, basically that was it. So he kind of forced me, and fashion is my passion. I love it. So yeah, that was it really. That's how we started again. So I'm just here. I'm just trying to help him build. He's a university, he comes in and sees what's going on, and slowly he's learning. and he should be doing this, not me. But it's like, Dad, he was like, Dad, you go and do this. I'll come in the next one. So yeah, here we are, and that's how we started.
Amazing. One last question. So, what would you tell your younger self or the younger version of yourself?
Another great question. You know what? I never really younger version of myself. You know, when I first started, alhamdulillah, people, it was like this for me. Because I had a lot of good teachers. It was like everything I was doing, it was literally like this. I was just going up and up. There were some downs in there. I'm not going to say that there wasn't. There was some down points in there. But you know what? I'm one of those people. I can be down one day and I'm full of energy the next day because it's my love. So to my younger self, look, it's a lot changed. Things have changed over the years. You know, like when I started, there was, like I said it earlier, there was no social media. We had to work hard. You know, it was. I think the only thing we had was Facebook, but even then, you know, it wasn't that much. So I think now it's harder now, but my younger self, I would say, to be honest, everything I did in the past, alhamdulillah, was great. So there was things in there I could have done better. Don't really want to go into that, but there was things I could have done better. You know, when I first started, I had a good setup. You know, I did a lot of things right. I did a lot of things wrong. Maybe some of them right things, and maybe I would say one gentleman, he's passed away now. When I said to him, I'm gonna go into this, he said to me, "Don't do it," because the route I was on before, it was stick to that route. And I went, you know, I just want to get into doing fashion more. And here we are. So fashion, you know, I love it. If I were to change anything, I don't know. There's things I could change, but hey, that's life, you know. You learn.
Yeah.
You know, so you just move on. And now I'm here, helping my son set this store up, and we've been open about 6-7 weeks now. It's early days, you know, so we're just building, we're just getting to know. I'm just introducing him to people, to brands and stuff, to the agencies, and teaching him how the systems work, how the season works, the products and stuff. He's a young lad, he knows, you know, a little bit about fashion as well. So we're just kind of working together to build, and hopefully we'll build it solid this time round.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Anyways,
Keep faith. Always keep faith.
anyways, thank you for your time.
No problem.
It was a pleasure doing this with you. Thank you.
Nice one. Thank you very much.